It's happened again. Another terrorist attack. If you haven't heard it, there was an attack last night in Manchester early this morning. Now, before I make this video and before, I put forward my points and talk about this, I think I should clarify a few things. One, this was not the video I wanted to make after coming back about maybe 20 days later. Not exactly the kind of video I want to make, but I kind of feel compelled to make this video, and obviously this will not be monetized. If you want to skip ahead in the video to where I'm stop clarifying and actually get into what happened, then there'll be a timestamp somewhere about, or in the description down below. But before I say anything, I have a feeling not a lot of people are going to take me seriously, considering the fact of the red hair and stuff like that, and that's fine. I don't care. There's also a few other things. One, I'm not Islamophobic. Because let's also clarify what Islamophobic is, as well as, the hashtag not all Muslims, alright? Now, before you start yelling wonderful things at me, just hear me out for 1 minute at least. One, everyone who's talking about this and is actually giving an actual discussion on this knows that it's not all Muslims. There are parts of Islam, different sects or different groups of Islam. Same way with Christianity, you have Catholicism, Protestantism, the Baptists, the Methodists, all these different variations and groups that have slightly or majorly different beliefs in the same belief. Islam is no exception. So before anyone goes, oh, you're Islamophobic. No, I'm not. And first off, don't even call me racist, because this is a thing. Islam, Muslims, they're not a race. It's an ideology. It's a religion. Get your facts straight before you start insulting me, okay? Now, like I said, there are a few groups that endorse things like honor killing, jihad, forced rape. Well, rape is forced anyway, but forced child marriage and marriage in general. Female genital mutilation. Stuff like that. Stuff that in our system is illegal. And also in our system, we highly frown upon, unless, of course, you're worried about being labeled a racist, Islamophobic, hateful, hate speech, stuff like that. And of course, there are certain parts of that belief and certain groups in that belief that want you dead if you don't believe what they believe, whether you virtue signal for them or not. They want you dead. Now, I don't know about you, but I quite like being alive, and just by making this video, I'm making myself a threat. But obviously that doesn't matter, because any criticism of them, which, by the way, if you criticize them, they put you on their hit list. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Read up on it. Go look into the different groups and how they act towards non-believers and people who go against what they say. And the fact, if you are for Sharia law, you should not be in a Western civilization whatsoever. Because Western civilization and Sharia law do not work or mix together. Now, with that bit out of the way, in Manchester, there was an attack. So far, it's been confirmed here or there that there's been around 22 deaths. 22 murders by an Islamic terrorist, which ISIS have claimed. And again, if you're going to call me Islamophobic or whatever, go back to the first 5 minutes or the first couple minutes and actually see what I'm talking about when I talk about Islamic terror. Okay? Before you start shouting words at me. Good? Alright. But with that being said, an Islamic extremist terrorist decided to strap a bomb to himself and detonate it outside of a concert as people were leaving, which has so far killed 22 people and injured, I believe the number is right now at 57, but obviously more reports are coming in and the like, and I'm being constantly updated and stuff like that. So yeah, not the best of things, and apparently it's being called the worst terrorist attack since a couple of years ago. It's not a good thing, and to be fair, it's not just the security's fault. It's the government's fault, because sources are coming in, reports are coming in that this guy, as well as the attacker in London, a couple months ago, apparently they were both on watch lists. Yeah, who would have thunk it? They were on watch lists, which means they were being constantly watched 24/7 by the police. But do they interact with them? No. Do they arrest them? No. Why is it so difficult to stop these people? Simply put, a lot of people are afraid of being called Islamophobic or causing a big ruckus to where imams and their entire group of whatever particular group of Islam they're in charge up to the police station and pretty much ask for the person to be removed. There were a couple of cases of this where someone was arrested for throwing a brick at a policeman's face, and instead of him being charged, the imam, as well as his group of people that he was preaching to, charged up to the police station, a couple hundred of them that is, and got the man released without charge, without trial, without any of those things. So, obviously, again, the whole argument for not all Muslims, yes, I know, it's not all Muslims. But there are lots of groups in the Muslim belief system that hold these beliefs. And we're not checking for them. We're not enforcing restrictions on these people. Because these people want you dead. And it's quite obvious with what's happened in London and Manchester. And it's disgusting. Children were murdered last night. The youngest was an 8-year-old girl. And this is a difficult topic to talk about. Not only are people scared to talk about it because of the backlash, but also that some people are afraid of being a target put on their head. And just simply by talking about this, I'm going to have one on my head. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I've already seen the hashtag Pray for Manchester, just like the Paris, just like the London, just for the Nice. Hashtags don't do anything. And I also got a message earlier. I got a message earlier from one of the people on Facebook. Share this pink balloon around and pray for Manchester. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been praying. Prayers don't really do anything. Actions do. And it's usually the people who pray for things are waiting for someone else to act upon things. Now, I've no disrespect for people who pray for things. But to pray and take no action, I don't understand it. And for the hashtags and the putting pictures on, like overlays on your Twitter handle and stuff like that, it doesn't do anything. Because we're not doing anything to combat these threats. Instead, we're silencing people who talk about, the parts of Islam that are very, very dangerous. That are causing all this terrible things to happen. Like the extremists. It's funny though, because me talking about this, it's likely going to be censored. And I will know by the end of the day if this video is censored, because I'll have to put it up on VidMe and Minds and stuff like that. We need to start looking out for our own citizens, for our own children. And with the EU forcing countries to take massive amounts of immigrants in the near future, I've no issue with people seeking refuge in other countries. But when it comes to war and you evacuating your home, you are given the right to go to the nearest safe country. The nearest. No further. But the EU is soon going to be forcing their countries to take on hundreds of thousands of people, which, by the way, maybe not all of them believe in the same ideologies as the people who have been, committing these crimes and these absolutely horrendous acts. But quite a few of them still do. Quite a few of them still believe and have sympathy for people like ISIS, have sympathy for and believe in honor killings and Sharia law. And we have no way of vetting these people to keep them out of the country or countries, specifically Western countries. Now, you might call me racist for that, and you can say what you want, but when it comes to actual discussion about these things, people who have the concept of vetting the people crossing the entire globe, halfway across the globe to get to a safe country, rather than one or two countries outside their own border, they call you racist. They call you Islamophobic. And I just don't get it. I really don't. Now, you can say what you want about me, but I like to look at both sides of the painting, both sides of the same coin, both sides of the same argument. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult seeing how our leaders are dealing with this, because they're not doing anything to help. I mean, take the London mayor, who said, what was it, after the London attack? Terrorism is just part and parcel of daily life, if you live in a city. And it boggles my mind. It truly does. And I truly do not understand how people can be so supportive of people who literally want them dead, on the grounds and fear of being called bad names. And I know for a fact people are going to start calling me bad names. And, do what you want. At this point, I'm tired. I'm fed up. Because how many more attacks, how many more terrorist threats and attacks and killings and murders do we have to deal with now, or go through till people actually get it? Because last night, parents, children, brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers were taking pieces of flesh from other people, maybe even their own family, out of their own hair. Now imagine that was your family. Imagine that was your children. Imagine that was your brothers, your sisters, your mother, or your father. And then tell me, would you still have the same conclusion that you have today? It's happened very close to some of the people I care about. And I feel selfish for feeling glad that they're not harmed. Because my first instinct was, were they anywhere near this? Not to the people who were hurt. And I feel horrible about that. And then my heart bloody aches. It really does. For all the people that have been hurt. And for the children. For the children who've been brought to the morgue in pieces, with nails sticking out of their bloody skulls. So I ask you again, if you're in support of any of this horrible stuff, or you feel concerned about being racist or Islamophobic or whatever the hell it is, I ask you very simply, imagine that was your children, your family, your friends. My feelings wouldn't change. I'm just as angry, and I'm just as tired. And I've had enough of it. And to those of you, if you are still watching, of course, I'm just ranting away now, but of those of you that are still watching, and yous are Muslim, and yous don't believe in the things that they believe, you need to speak up. You need to speak up about the grooming gangs. You need to speak up about Islamic terror. You need to speak up about all of the things that those people are pushing. Because for the most of the world, what they're seeing is all of that. Again, I have no issue with Muslims who are outside of those groups, who are, functioning members of society, who care about their friends, care about their family, care about the people who are not a part of their religion, who don't want to hurt people, who don't want to go on a jihad, who don't want to murder innocent women, children, husbands, brothers, fathers, sisters, mothers, wives. You need to speak up. You need to make sure that this doesn't happen again. I'll do my best to support you. But only if you speak out about these things. Because apparently people like me, a white male, can't. Because people won't take me seriously, especially now because I look like an SJW. But there's only so much people like myself can do. And the problem is within the communities. And it needs to be addressed. People need to stop being silenced. People need to hear each other's voices, to hear how much we hate stuff like this and how far we will go to protect our children and our families and our friends. I guess I should probably leave it here. I've been ranting for about 20 minutes. Hopefully it was coherent. I'm tired. I really am. This stuff sickens me. The fact that I feel compelled to make a video about it. It sickens me. And I hate it. But unfortunately, a lot of people are afraid to speak out. I guess I'm not. And I hope you will too. But I'm going to leave it here. If any of you are actually, watch me on a regular basis, still going to be away for a couple more days. Still working a few things out. And hopefully I'll return properly with the Monday, Wednesday and Friday show, as well as occasional rants and vlogs and stuff, as well as a podcast I'm working on. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. Good luck. It's disgusting.